Welcome to Ellis B. Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
Our guest is Imus in the morning, and you're probably hearing him.
We know that.
More than you'll ever hear him at any one point, as he describes his political philosophy and his religious philosophy. And he does that very well. You only get him in spurts in the morning because he really blasts out over WNBC. And then he puts the music on, and then he has this contest. But we're going to try to pry into Imus a little more. See if we can make
We got 17 minutes, clown. Get with it.
See if we can make a revelation here and now. Can we find out where you're really from, Imus? Is it Cleveland?
No, I'm from California. And,
You're really from California? No?
yeah, I just spent a year in Cleveland. I was born in Riverside, in California.
And when I asked you about the way you conduct yourself on the air,
Yeah.
I was wondering whether you did this in Cleveland, and they heard about you and said, well, look, New York audiences need some of this shaking up. I mean,
Well, that is precisely what happens. Doing, a much less refined version of what I'm doing now. Not that it was any better, or worse. It was just, at least I do whatever I do now better is all, And then I worked at a couple stations there. And then when I was in Sacramento, California, I won the Billboard Magazine Award as the Medium Market Disc Jockey of the Year. And then this past year, I won the Billboard Disc Jockey Award as the Major Market Disc Jockey of the Year. Gary Owens of Laugh-In and I, Gary has a show on KMPC in Los Angeles. He and I jointly won the award.
Mm-hmm.
And so I received a lot of publicity in the trade because of that. And so I was speaking at the Billboard convention in Chicago last August, and I was contacted by NBC about coming to New York, But I wasn't really too interested because I figured, hey, get in there with those creeps. And, it would be, by the time they got done censoring me, why, there wouldn't be anything left of the show. But they convinced me, over a period of about 3 months, that they would not censor me, in fact, and that, other than matters of poor taste, which I am prone to get into on occasion, and they have kept their word. So,
I suppose you're happy that you made that decision.
yes, I am.
And I suppose NBC is happy, or is it too early to tell?
Well, I never ask them. I suppose they are. They haven't,
You're an unusual personality for NBC, one would think. One would more or less begin to associate your style, with ABC or with an underground radio, well, you're not that far out for underground radio, but your style is a mixture of, in the one hand, keeping things somewhat in order, but on the other hand, really, at times, just blasting out. Now, I suppose before NBC, it was more blasting out and less keeping things in order.
No, it's always been the same.
Same thing. Did that?
I didn't change at all.
Well, are you getting a reputation for insulting people in New York, even though it's a radio program? Are there people that don't like you?
Oh, I doubt that.
I mean, listeners?
I doubt that very seriously.
They don't get insulted when you call them creeps, and when you call them, they get on and they say, "You shut up." I mean, you tell them to shut up, they start to sing. You say, "I've never heard anybody as bad as that." Or what was it? You had somebody auditioning as a singer, and I've heard this about 4 weeks ago, I think it was, and you said something. They said to you, "I think I could sing as bad as." And they named one of the leading singers, and then they did, and you said, "You're right. You really do sing as bad as whoever it was."
Yeah.
But do they enjoy this? I mean, is there a masochistic strain in people in New York where they like to call Imus in the morning and get really ripped up?
Well, I was trying to hustle abroad the other day at lunch, and she told me that I shouldn't do that. I mean, because that's not my act is certainly not Don Rickles or, and I don't. I mean, I don't know whether they like it or not, to answer your question, but I'm not really serious, of course, about it. And, I'm not on the radio to take a lot of cheap shots at listeners and put them down. But I think a lot of them that call for that Columbus thing really realize that they are bad. And that's what makes it funny, I think, is that they are terrible. And on many occasions when somebody is really horrible, I will then compliment them. simply because it's so incongruous, you know.
How do you feel?
Didn't think I knew a big word like that.
I'm beginning to know more and more about. Listen, it is Don Imus.
Yeah, you can call me whatever you
Okay,
want.
see, we've warmed
What
him
is your
up. We've
name?
mellowed him down a little bit. We're really getting through to him now. The Imus.
Another joint now. Just a little dope humor. Folks.
Incidentally, Imus, is that a real name? Or
Yes,
is that
that's my real name.
Imus?
Yeah.
That's an interesting name.
I am. My whole ethnic background is Welsh, English, Jewish, and Polish.
And out of that you get Imus, I-M-U-S.
I guess I did, yeah.
Right. How do you feel about being in a station like this, which is basically...
Oh, it's a real come down, but you know.
Can we get you for one of our witnesses? No. Do you have serious thoughts about radio?
No, I don't take any. Mike McGrady and I were talking, and what newspaper do you work for, Demi? Newsday. Yeah.
Newsday.
I just have a good time, and I really, before I got into radio, I was a brakeman for Southern Pacific Railroad.
Is that why you're wearing those overalls?
I guess, yeah.
Right. See,
And before that, you know, I worked in some copper mines in Arizona and some uranium mines. And
well, how did you first how did you get into the first radio
I
program?
got tired of working, man. You know, calluses, I just didn't dig that. And a railroad was really a bummer job because I was a brakeman, mainline brakeman on freight trains. And working out of L.A., and you go from L.A. down to Yuma, Arizona, or, you know, up the coast, and gone 3 days sleeping on those crummy cabooses, and, you know, the money wasn't that good, and it was just a drag, so...
And the first station you were on was in California?
Yeah, I went to a disc jockey school, the Don Martin School of Radio.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did it help? Did it
Can
really?
I give the name of the school?
Yeah.
The Don Martin School of Radio and Television
You still
Arts
have
and
an interest in
Sciences.
it, then?
No, I still owe them money, though. I really do. I owe them $500, and... But, you know, when I went there, they told me I was never going to make it because I was, you know, too creepy and stuff. And so now I'm their big attraction, see, and they use me on the cover of their brochure, and, you know, all, so I figure I'm not going to pay them. Or I'm going to figure when I'm really secure, I'll pay them maybe, you know.
Incidentally, a lot of young people, you know, look and they see radio schools and all that.
That's what they are.
Sure they are. And
Dope smokers.
and they see all these advertisements about you can be a big-time disc jockey, come to this radio school. Your experience would be unique in that sense. Not many people go to those schools and really can come out and get into radio. You have to have a personality. It has to be you. Somewhat. You develop what is Imus. I mean, and you do it naturally, don't you?
Yeah. But I think you can do whatever you want to do. You know, I think
you don't have to. I mean, if you go to one of those schools like you did,
I think if you stand a good a chance as I did. I mean, if I can make it, anybody.
Do you believe in school at all? I mean, college and for young people.
Oh, I don't know. I guess
What would you do if you weren't
Good way to meet chicks.
acting schools also? Have you ever gone to an acting school?
No, you know, I was going to go when I was in the Marine Corps. When I first got out, I was going to go to Pasadena Playhouse. But so I went up and looked around, man, and there were so many guys there that went, hi. So I don't need this. It's in the dorms with them, you know. Sleep on your back.
Well, there are great movements afoot, as you know. I mean,
I have a thing I'm going to do tomorrow, and I have a character called Imus in Washington where I do a David Brinkley thing.
Oh, you did that this morning. You did, it was the David Brinkley delivery of that.
Well, that's how Attorney General Mitchell is going to be replaced by a 50-pound sack of jellyfish and an autographed picture of Ramsey Clark.
Did
you know that Helga Hughes, did you know that Clifford Irving's wife is actually Howard Hughes? That's the latest from McGraw-Hill.
You can't believe them these days.
Well, Howard underwent a sex change operation in Denmark in 1959, and that is who Clifford Irving is. And that is the bombshell that Clifford is saving. And what McGraw-Hill has done now to save face, they recently paid a New Jersey housewife $450,000 in cash because she showed up in their offices here in New York claiming to be Amelia Earhart. McGraw-Hill has reason to believe that she is because she had a complete biographical account of her missing years in the jungles of Arabia. And McGraw-Hill is not sure that there are any jungles in Arabia, but this lady knows a lot about flying, and so they're going to go ahead and publish the book.
Howard Hughes, wherever you are, you can have equal time. And that lady who flies, wherever you are, you can fly in here.
Well,
and
actually,
have equal
Clifford
time.
Irving said she couldn't be Amelia Earhart because Amelia Earhart was with him when he met Howard Hughes. Actually,
That's an intriguing
she and Judge
web
Crater.
you're weaving.
I guess. I don't know. He's really he's a neat cat. I'd like to do what he did to McGraw. I'd like to do that to NBC.
Well, Clifford Irving said that was in earlier interviews, about a year or two ago, after one book he said the greatest thing is to really fake out the establishment, to really
he said that when he did that interview for French television. He and DeHore, is that his name?
I don't know.
What's the painter's name?
Which painter?
Big newspaper guy for Newsday, right? No.
He not only insults his radio listeners, he insults his writers. Don Imus. Imus in the Morning reminds me of the song. What is that song? Imus in the Morning. Dinah in the... No.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I can't. See, I failed the audition already. I was auditioning
How
here.
long is this show? 30 minutes?
Has it been that long? You're a fast talker, Imus, when you're really
minutes.
not interrupted with
Long,
records.
grueling minutes.
It's 6. If you like more of this, it's 6 in the morning. Tune in 6:60 at 6 in the morning and stay with them until 10 a.m.
You won't be able to do it, folks. I guarantee it.
And
Maybe 10 minutes.
And
tops.
that's Monday through Friday. And if you want the best of Imus, if he wasn't kidding, and it's hard to
No,
listen
that's
to,
true. We do that show.
Then
we repeat some of the best things we did in the previous week.
The best of Imus.
Also have an album, and it's called 1,200 Hamburgers to Go. And it's based on a call. I called McDonald's Hamburgers one morning, and I got a hold of a guy that was cleaning up there, but he turned out to be the assistant manager. And I told him that my name was Sergeant Kirkland from the Air National Guard. I wanted to get some lunches to go. We had a troop movement scheduled at one of the local colleges. And after much to do, he said, I told him I wanted 1,200 hamburgers.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't have enough meat or the buns or any of that stuff. And I informed him that it was the government that wanted them. And he said, well, we're trying to get them. And then I talked him into taking the order, which he did, and finally hung up on me. But that is on the album.
Is that on the record?
Yeah.
Which label was that
RCA.
on? Mm-hmm.
In fact,
RCA did that.
In fact, everything that I do is on the album. Judge Hangin and Crazy Bob, who tells insane fairy tales, and Reverend Hargis and Imus in Washington, and I do a thing called the Answer Lady. And the Answer Lady works like this: you have an answer, and then I give you the question, the answer. Give me an answer.
An answer to the question.
No, you give me the answer. I'll give you the question.
Oh, okay.
Anything you want.
Yes.
Well, what did the answer is yes. The question is, what did Juliet Prowse say about 9 months ago?
I better be careful. Let me give you another answer. Just I'll give you a phrase answer. But I didn't think that was right.
Do that.
I have another one.
No, I got one for that.
But I didn't think that was right.
Why did Dr. David Rubin flunk out of the Masters Johnson sex course?
The Plaza 7-8866. Now, if you call that telephone number in the morning, listen, only stay with Imus about 2 minutes. Come right back to WNYC because...
what do you guys do here, by the way?
Incidentally, what do you
when
think
you
of...
do stupid interviews like this?
Yeah.
Because if you do, you're not going to have any listeners.
What
you don't care, do you?
What do you think of non-commercial radio? Do you think of non-commercial radio?
I don't have any opinion. I think it's good.
Do you think we fill a service?
Yes, I do.
Do you ever listen to us?
Yes, I do.
The Best of Imus is on at 8 o'clock Saturday morning on NBC, by the way. Are you going on television?
Well, I'd like to. Yeah, I would like to. I don't want to stay in radio other than, 3 more minutes.
No, but even now, could you make television guest appearances? Because you're very colorful. I mean...
Oh, yes, I could, if somebody would ask me.
You haven't been asked yet?
No.
That's because they haven't seen you.
I would like to be on the Johnny Carson show, but after all the things I've said about Joanne and Truman Capote, he won't let me on. I said that Joanne said he was so busy touching his tie, he never touched me, so I dumped him.
Do you have writers, or do you make all of this up as you go along?
No, I use sources like National Lampoon. I get a lot of neat ideas from there. Time Magazine, the San Francisco Chronicle, the front page of the Wall Street Journal. I'm serious. A lot of those little things are really funny. You just got to take the little news stories and write a punchline, man. That's it.
Right.
New York Magazine sometimes. Rolling Stone, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The Los Angeles Free Press, which is now something else, but no writer's service, no comedy things.
Could you say something? I'm going to ask a favor of you, Imus. Could you say something? Now, 2 things to this request. Something nice to our audience. with a nice tone before we say goodbye?
Keep those cards and letters.
Right. Okay. That ends this broadcast of Visitors from the Other Side, and our guest was Don Imus. He just ripped our script up, and it was Imus in the morning, and he's still ripping up. He's causing fire alarms here and everything else. So we want you to, as a matter of fact, we'd like to hear what you think about Imus, and we want you to join us. And incidentally, we do appreciate some of the
You're actually ad-libbing.
recommendations.
He's ad-libbing, folks, the first time in his career.
Recommendations for guests. And since none of you have asked for Imus, since none
You can't read, you're lost.
since none of you have asked for Imus, we have brought him to you, and we'd like to know what you think.
Keep your opinions to yourself, folks.
Remember, Imus in the
My
morning,
gig. I don't tell you how to
NBC,
drive a cab, do I?
WNBC, and try him one morning.
Yeah, 20 seconds. You're not going to make it. You dummy.
Okay, Imus in the morning.
Sure you
Join
don't
us
wanna
next
use my
week again
banaka?
for Visitors from the Other Side.